Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Sashay Away with Barry. I'm here once again with Roger. I'm not even going to pretend I know what side he's on, so I'm just going to point both ways. He's this way for me, but on your screen, he may be, up here or over there. I don't know. It's always backwards when I actually go back and watch it. But we're here and we're going to talk about Drag Race in the United States. Sorry.
Drag Race? I literally am themed completely wrong then.
No, you're good. We'll talk about what you're wearing momentarily.
Yes.
We're going to talk about Drag Race Season 13. I think this is episode 9. And of course, it is the Snatch game. Roger is here every Snatch game with me, always. All right, so you can see we have backgrounds. I have my Drag Race background. I put my punk, I don't know which way to point. Not that way. That way. I put my punk picture in because we had our punk rock mini challenge. Roger, do you want to explain what you're doing?
Well, one, I should actually give credit where it's due. Brian Doyle actually made this for me,
and it's amazing.
I'm repping the WandaVision series finale, and honestly, the best character in the show.
She really is.
Although, like, if you haven't watched it, this entire thing is actually a spoiler.
It's a big spoiler.
It's a big spoiler.
But go watch it anyway, because it's actually really good. We've gone through the whole series. It's over. It's just one series. Go and enjoy it. It's on Disney Plus.
Yep. Can you imagine that was 8 weeks?
8 weeks?
Yeah.
It's 9. There's 9 episodes, isn't there?
9 episodes, but the first week they dropped episodes 1 and 2.
Oh, it is true. That's true. Very true.
Yeah. Look, this started the same time that
it started at Drag Race. And here we are. So we're going to talk Snatch Game. Give me your overall thoughts of the episode. Don't go into any details. Just your overall thoughts of the episode.
Actually, I thought this was a really fun episode overall. Especially coming off the heels of I think a very unusually placed documentary.
Yes.
That made us relive our COVID PTSD.
Yeah, because COVID never ended, but here we are saying, remember when we had COVID?
Yeah.
I remember it like it was yesterday.
Yeah. You know what? Overall, I thought it was a fun episode. And because of that documentary, it made my anger over the fact that Candy was saved dissipate a bit. So
okay,
yeah.
It did not alleviate my anger.
I mean, I still think she should have gone home
because she should have gone home.
Yeah,
but other than TV purposes, there was no reason to keep her. Because her drag is just not that great. I said that I talked to my friend Peter last week, and what am I saying? I said that I appreciate Candy Muse's enthusiasm for drag because I think she really loves drag and probably as much as I love drag.
Yeah.
I just don't think her drag is up to par.
And
she's just a good TV personality.
Yeah, and it's also like taste and aesthetic. I don't think that she's got it. Yeah,
exactly.
It's just.
I agree. This episode was really fun. I really enjoyed it. I thought, I enjoyed almost everything about it. So we'll get into it. We said goodbye to no one last week, so we don't have to say goodbye to anyone. No. We did have a COVID special. Did you notice? I buy the episodes on iTunes as well as watch them live. But that if you look on iTunes, it says it is episode 17.
So I did not notice it. Because I listened to Drag Her. And they were talking about the special. And they said that it was episode 17.
Yeah, I think it was on Amazon. It said 17 as well. And so I think it makes sense to me that it would air at the end of the season or even at the beginning of the season. But not smack in the middle.
No, and it just unless they were like, well, if we put it the week that everyone thinks it's Snatch Game, more people will watch it. I don't know.
Sure.
But that, I mean, honestly, like, it makes me think that there are, I mean, the consensus now is like that there are 16 episodes, which honestly, that's, you remember back in the old days when a network comedy drama, a season is 22 episodes. Yeah. And even I'm like, I think that's a little too much.
Too much. But those episodes, those comedy dramas were also usually just a half an hour.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
These are an hour and a half episodes in a half an hour.
Yeah.
So that is a lot to take in. It's interesting. Because I would look back at old Drag Race, and Bob, the drag queen, has been saying this forever. Season 8, the season that Bob won, was the shortest season of Drag Race ever, with 9 episodes. So if this was season 8, they would have crowned the winner last night.
Oh, yeah.
Or this week.
Yeah. Well, and I guess, you know, if you think of just like practical purposes, maybe, I don't know, you know, you're making all of these girls quarantine and the crew, and, you know, you're making them all quarantine for like 2 weeks. Yeah. And then, you know, to then be like,
and be like, sorry, you got to go.
Sorry, you got to go home in the first week, you know? So I get it.
Yeah.
You know, you want to, especially in this time where if you didn't, I mean, we didn't know that we would still be.
No, we had no idea.
A year later, kind of.
I mean, literally, when we shut down work, everyone was like, we'll be gone for like a month.
Yeah. No. So
here we are, coming up on our 1-year anniversary of working from home.
Yeah. And so this is that kind of like, you know, giving them that exposure. You know, which my theory now is that because there are 16 episodes, I think we're going to go back to like seasons 1 through 3, where there's not going to be a live.
I hope so. Honestly, we don't need a live one. I mean, you can't really do one. I feel like they might be stalling to hoping that they can get one. Not that they'll have a live audience, but that they could get the queens there. Although I don't even know that that's possible.
Yeah, I mean,
because they have to quarantine them for 14 days when they got there.
Yeah.
And
they're not going
to put them up in a hotel for 14 days.
Yeah.
To shoot one episode.
Right. So that's very possible that all the queens that went are still there.
Yes.
All the way through the end to do a finale all together.
Yes, I'm hoping. That's what I'm hoping. Because I don't think they would send them. I think the people that have been eliminated are locked up in a hotel somewhere.
Yeah.
And just waiting.
But like if you think it through and you're like, okay, so what can we absolutely do here during this? And that just seems like it takes away the uncertainty of saying, are we going to be able to have a live finale in April?
Yeah, if they haven't taped the finale already, I could see them bringing back the top 4 or whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
And quarantining them and then taping a live, not like a live show, but a show on a stage or even on the sound stage with just the 4 people. They would not bring back all the queens, and then you would have the virtual reunion again, which is just not as good, but it is what it is.
It is what it is.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens. Let's start on this fucking episode. Our mini challenge is doing a quick drag punk rock. This is our first episode that we got pit crew members.
The pit crew.
We got Bruno and we got Bryce. Bruno on guitar, Bryce on drums, and RuPaul giving her rock on fingers. This harkens back to RuPaul's days in her punk rock band.
Yeah.
Which I think is fantastic. So let's talk about. I don't remember any of these performances.
No, but can I just declare my undying lust for Bryce?
Oh, girl, she is so cute. And I mean, this Bruno, if you follow him on Instagram,
I do.
They're amazing. His photos are amazing.
Yeah,
he's got the thickest thighs
and one of the best smiles.
Yes, agreed. Cheers to the pit crew. I'm going to take a drink of my rosé. So we're just going to talk about what they look like because I don't remember any of these performances other than Tina Berner's.
Yeah.
Candy Muse looks deranged.
looks like a serial killer.
Yeah. I mean, if I saw this anywhere in person, I would run because it is terrifying.
Yep.
I love that instead of taping her nipples, she just painted them.
It looks, yeah.
She's a hot mess.
Yeah, a hot mess.
And I don't know if they were told that they had to put these fishnets over their faces, but a lot of them did.
Was fishnet, did they give them material? They didn't give them materials. I don't remember.
It was some kind of hose from Snag. So I'm assuming they just ripped up all their hose and put them on their head.
Okay. Well.
I don't know. Simone did not put them on her face, but she gave us this little dreadlock number.
Yeah.
She's fine.
Yeah, she's fine.
She did her thing. She doesn't look crazy.
No.
Although
my main criticism about all of them is that we all they have not a very good understanding of what punk looks like.
They have no idea what punk rock is.
Yeah.
Except for this one, Gottmik. She understands punk, but this still wasn't great to me, but she understands what punk is that we see later in her runway.
Correct. And it's more in Gottmik's style.
Yes, totally. This is her drag, honestly.
Her wheelhouse.
I wish I could have had the bottom of her picture because again, she wore, the stringiest of straps down there. Rosie looks insane.
Rosie looks like, isn't there some horror movie character called Jigsaw?
Yeah, exactly.
That's yeah.
This is terrifying.
And I saw this picture earlier because you posted it, and I really was like, but look at Bruno's arm.
Yeah, girl.
Yeah.
Bruno has got it going on.
Ooh.
Then we have Utica. Utica might be my favorite look from this because it's so bananas.
It's the Toxic Avenger.
I don't know what she's like. Punk, I got it. But what I love most about it are her lips because they're gigantic.
Yeah. She looks like a deranged pickle that is going down the route on cycle at 5:45.
Oh my God, we
really
need a deranged
scaring those last riders. Get to the finish line.
Go. Just nuts. Denali failed.
I was gonna say something really bad.
This is a big fail.
I was like, Denali reminds me of one of those homeless people that just puts on everything they own.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, in this picture, not no.
Yeah, I think it's the thing that she tied around her head is the little bit too much.
Yeah.
I don't know where she got this denim vest from, but it is just ill-fitting. Here's another crazy. This is Elliott with 2 T's, and she looks bananas in this. I don't know what even she was going for.
Does she have another face on top of hers?
It really looks like I think it's the fishnets that are going from her nose up and nothing down. So it looks like she put someone else's face on top.
It also looks very Silence of the Lambs.
Yeah, just crazy. I don't know what this was about. Tina Berner was the winner of our mini challenge, and I think she won because she shook her ass, and it was really kind of amusing.
Did it look like there were things in her ass that were moving?
Things were moving in so many different ways. It didn't look real.
Yeah, that's where I was like, whoa. Ooh, okay.
Yeah. To me, her look was very Rocky Horror.
Yeah.
Little sweet transvestite, but she was fine. Yeah. And lastly, we have Olivia, whose wig came off almost immediately. Great.
And again, I think Olivia, more than anyone, I was like, honey, you don't know what punk
she
is.
Had no idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, she put on a blue wig and a cutoff shirt. Great.
Yeah.
So who had your favorite look of these?
I guess Gottmik.
No, come on, Candy View.
I cannot. There's no way that I give Candy.
That picture of Candy Muse will haunt your nightmares.
There's no way that I give Candy Muse even a joking win.
No. Yeah, I think Gottmik got it right. I still love Utica's outfit because I think it's just so bananas. It makes no sense. Tina Berner was declared the winner. She got $2,500 cash for doing that. Great, for shaking her ass. But now we're going to go on to Snatch Game. I'm going to stop sharing for a moment because do you have anything to say about Ru walking around and talking to them? We only got to see 6 of them, I think.
Not really. Other than, we say this all the time. I think during Snatch Game, I feel like when Ru tells you, I don't know.
I don't know about that.
Yeah. Like only in Snatch Game. I feel like in other challenges, she can probably lead you in the wrong way. But I feel in Snatch Game, like she's gonna lead you in the right way because she's got a volley off of you.
No, because she knows Snatch Game. There are people that only watch Snatch Game, that watch Drag Race. They only watch Snatch Game, and it has to be the best episode.
Yeah. And so I feel like
Yeah. So she's not gonna steer you wrong.
Yeah. So Utica should have listened.
Utica should have listened. Maybe Elliott with 2 T's should have listened. Maybe Olivia should have listened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although, and remind me when we finish talking about what Olivia posted on Twitter after.
Oh yeah, I'm excited to hear that.
I'm gonna write it down so I don't forget either.
Yeah, don't forget. All right, let's go back in and we'll talk about these queens in Snatch Game. So we have Snatch Game and our contestants are Raven and the one, the only Victoria Porkchop Parker. I'm so glad that Porkchop got to be on this season because if they don't do a live finale, we wouldn't get her on the season this year.
Yeah. Do you think Porkchop was actually late, or do you think that was a bit?
I'm hoping it was a bit, but I kind of also wish that she was just late.
Yeah. Yeah.
I could easily see her like at the craft service table eating. What did you think of our contestants?
One, since I've been watching Drag Race from the beginning, I absolutely love the fact. I love whenever Porkchop gets invited to things.
She gets her due.
And gets her due and gets recognized, Yeah. And you can tell that RuPaul likes.
Yes.
Yeah. And it's always fun to have Raven on. I didn't really like Raven during her season, but
she was a little nasty during her season.
Yeah, but post.
But I liked her more on All Stars 1, which is saying a lot because All Stars 1 was terrible, but I liked her more on that.
Right.
And I think she has mellowed out quite a bit.
Yeah, well, she's got an Emmy now.
She got an Emmy. She got a very steady paycheck.
Exactly. Like, and she looks. Those shoulders. She's got like Jada Essence Hall shoulders right now.
And she is so bronzed.
Yeah.
I noticed that in the UK when she popped up. I was like, oh, she is bronzed.
Yeah.
So I don't know if she's been tanning or if she's just painting herself bronze. Either way, it's working for her. Here's our queens. Okay, give me your overall impression of the Snatch Game. Don't go into details about anyone, just overall. As
Snatch Game was winding down, I thought to myself, oh wait, that was one of the most delightful Snatch Games in a while.
Agreed. And I will say this episode is the only one that I enjoyed more than the Snatch Game, episode. I enjoyed more than UK because UK I thought was compared to this very lackluster. And it may be because a lot of them did people I don't know.
Okay.
And I didn't learn anything about them other than Bimini's.
Yeah. I think I agree. I think it's probably because we knew a lot of more of these people. And
I didn't hate the UK Snatch Game. Let me say that to begin with. I did not hate it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just thought this one was more entertaining.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we get the reference. We get the references, and and also, except for like two of them, all of these are like they're not like recent stars. Like these are not like, these are all pretty kind of like old references,
Yes. Yeah, they're not super new.
Right.
I will say we got, just like in UK, we got feet from Tina Berner. Just like Ahura did for hers. So again, we're jumping into the repeating.
The detriment of having two Drag Race seasons back
at the same time, exactly.
Yeah.
I enjoyed this as well. I was concerned about there being 9 queens because I thought we weren't going to get much of it, but the way they did it, they went right into it. Like there was no downtime really. They went from the mini challenge to Ru talking to them right to the Snatch game.
Yeah, so I rewatched it before we did this.
Yeah.
And so I watched the video on Facebook where they just, it's the whole long clip because I believe there was a commercial break on the actual episode, and the runtime was 16 minutes.
Yeah.
Which I was like, this has to be one of the longest Snatch games that.
Yeah, and that made me happy because I always want to see more of it because I feel like they show us the best of some people and the worst of some people and not much in between. But this time I felt like we got to see so much more. And it was very clear to me who the top 3 were, who the safe 3 were, and who the bottom 3 were.
I agree.
Very clear.
I agree.
Yeah. All right, let's talk about them individually now. We're going to start with Miss Harriet Tubman. And this is Simone. We're going to talk about her performance, not her look. We'll do that right after this.
Okay.
So, performance.
So I feel like this is the one that we're going to have to like, and I've thought about it because on our text chain, you very clearly were like, I do not like this performance.
I didn't. Not that I didn't like it. I thought it was safe. I did not think it was a winning.
Okay, because I actually had to think about it because I really did. I really liked it.
Okay.
And I'm like, so why did Barry not like it? And so the only thing that I could come up with, which I would also say, is the fact that like she was kind of still Simone.
That was my problem with it. It was Simone. It was not Harriet Tubman.
She was still kind of exactly.
She could have said everything she said, but do it as Harriet Tubman, and I would have thought it was genius.
Yeah, like just copy Cynthia Erivo's like inflections or
and that was another thing when RuPaul asked who would play you in a biopic, and I was like, there already was one.
Yes, exactly.
You should know who played her.
Yeah, although I will say that was funny.
It was funny, but it was unintentionally funny.
Unintentionally funny, but it was funny.
But funny. I agree 1,000%.
Yes.
I love the idea of historical characters. I know we got 2 this season. I'm ready for more. I mean, we could do a whole Snatch game of historical characters and I would love it.
Yeah, I will say that her bits were bits that did not come out organically in the back and forth between the room. Like I thought
they were very planned, which is fine.
Yeah.
I mean, plan what you're going to do. I get that.
Yeah, but like, but
there needs to be some rapport.
Yeah, part of what makes a really great Snatch game performance is that spontaneity that comes out of hearing the question, either writing it or responding to the guests. And good bit with the stamping of the $100 bill, but that's all it was. It was a bit. A lot of these people have bits, but it doesn't. Yeah,
it's same with her introduction when she was hiding under the table. I was like, okay,
exactly.
It's funny, but you planned that and you knew exactly what you were going to do.
And it was diluted by the fact that Pork Chop wasn't at.
Yeah, there was already somebody missing.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right, let's talk about her look. There's Miss Harriet, and there is Simone as Harriet.
I don't know how to critique this look. It's Harriet Tubman.
I think she was fine. I mean, I think I knew who she was. looking at her.
I mean, like, I can't critique a look. It's Harriet Tubman. I'm not going to critique Harriet Tubman.
You're not. You're critiquing Simone.
That's Harriet Tubman. That's just something you just don't do.
All right. I think she did a great job as Harriet Tubman. She could have looked a little rougher, but you know, that's the way it is. It would have been interesting if she came out with no makeup.
That is true.
To be plain.
Yeah.
But I'm fine with it. Yeah. Next we have Paris Hilton, done by Gottmik.
It was
flawless.
it was and you know, some Snatch Game performances excel because they're so over the top, just in physicality. And then there are some Snatch Game performances that kind of like, you don't need to oversell it. Like if you know your character, if you know who your person is, and you can just like
do it,
nail it.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, and this was one of those. Like she wasn't like this, you know, raging party girl. She was just very. It was on. She was on, and that opening, that
opening bit was one of my favorite things ever on a Snatch Game. It was so funny.
Yeah, I mean, because I mean, we all remember the interview where Paris Hilton is like, she's like, well, no, I changed my voice.
I changed my voice. That's what I do.
Exactly. And how great to have Raven there as well.
So funny. I wish they had played clips of them side by side.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And
I can't say anything else about it because it was just done perfectly.
Yeah.
How about her look?
I mean, the look.
It's terrifying how much she looks like her.
Well, yes, but she's also painted.
She has painted her and will continue to paint her, I'm assuming.
Yeah, and there is also, and I think this works to Gottmik's advantage. I mean, her Paris Hilton also looks like Elle Woods from Legally Blonde.
She does.
You know?
Yeah, so, right down to the Chihuahua.
Right down to the Chihuahua. So there's already that kind of, you know, that's also working on another level as well.
Yeah.
And if you think about Elle Woods is a very smart woman who's also kind of, you know, kind of plain and exaggerated like version of what she thinks she's supposed to be.
Exactly. Yeah, of who she is.
Yeah.
Great job by Gottmik this week. No doubt about it.
Yeah.
Mary, Queen of Scots, our second historical character.
Again, something else that kind of works to the detriment of 13 while having Drag Race UK on is you actually have two Scottish queens on that cast, and you know, with Lawrence Chaney being the more outright Scottish one. So whenever like Rosé throughout the series is like harking back to my Scottish culture, I'm like, there's an actually Scottish queen on the other one. Just kind of like chill.
Yeah, but her Scottish accent was incredible.
Yes,
it was so good. I was like, there were times when she was talking and it sounded to me like Ellie Diamond.
Well, and there were, and you know, the taking it to that level of like talking so fast in a Scottish accent that you actually have no idea what she's saying, and she probably not even really saying anything.
At the end of her opening, I was like, I don't know what she said, and Rue's like, I've said that 1,000 times. I was like,
yeah.
And then you have Candy Muse saying she's got this accent that you can't understand. I was like, you are the wrong person to be talking about.
Right. Also, I think it's pretty a good choice.
I think it's a wonderful choice.
Because she does have the accent down.
Yeah.
Also, I very much I love the movie Mary, Queen of Scots.
Who doesn't?
Where, you know, Margot Robbie is playing Elizabeth, and what's her name? She's in. I can't believe that I'm blanking on this actress's name.
I know, I can't think of who you're trying to think of.
It is. Sorry.
It's okay.
Sorry. It is. Because I can't pronounce it. Saoirse Ronan.
Oh, Saoirse Ronan, of course.
Yeah. Is Mary Stuart.
Yes.
And then also I saw this amazing play on Broadway called Mary Stuart, and it's about Elizabeth and Mary Queen of Scots.
Yes.
So I know a lot.
I do too, and I think it was smart. I don't know how she packed this outfit in her bags for it to come out looking like this.
Well, there's probably nothing on the bottom.
It was a full dress. They showed it in the workroom.
Oh, did she? Oh, okay. Well,
yeah. Yeah, like it's a full, like it's not hooped or anything, like there's no bustle, but it's like a full skirt dress.
I will say there were at least 2 times, and she was probably featured 4 times, where I thought that she was gonna talk the joke out. And then she ended in a kind of.
And then it just ended.
Oh, okay, great. But I thought it was like going to be one of those things.
Yeah, it didn't need an explanation.
Yeah.
All right, there's your comparison. Sure, she looks like her.
Yes.
Great.
Yeah.
Tina Berner as Richard Simmons, performance only.
I feel like I was a little disappointed in the performance. I feel like with Richard Simmons, you could have gone so much bigger. Also, in a season where maybe other characters weren't as strong, maybe it would have popped more. But I mean, I remember Richard Simmons appearing like on talk shows and his infomercials and his own like shows,
right?
And Richard Simmons gets so excited that he's to the verge of tears,
Yeah.
And there wasn't, I didn't see that. And, again, maybe I would have gone something a little bit more demented, especially with she hints at it at the beginning, but
right.
The controversy about is Richard Simmons being held hostage in his,
right
house
by his housekeeper.
Yeah. So maybe I just would have been an entire help me kind of deal. I mean, it was fine for what it was, but it wasn't. It was.
Yeah, I mean, all of her answers could have been, "I'm being held against my will," 911, just anything to like get the message across that she's trapped somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't for me. It was fine. It wasn't bad. It wasn't good. It was fine. But yes, it needed to be much more over the top for Richard Simmons.
And also, you have an absolutely great catchphrase written on your jersey,
right
and you never once used it.
And she didn't say it once.
Not once.
Yeah. All right, let's talk about the look compared to Richard.
I mean, it's there. I
hate this wig.
Yeah, but looking at Richard, that that the tank could have gone lower.
Yeah, the wig is my problem with it. I don't care. I don't know why she feels like she needs to wear a red wig every week.
Well, yeah, that's true. But also like apparently that it is it's very, very wrong for white people to wear afros on Snatch Game.
Yeah. Even though this white person has an afro. I will say, if you look at this Tina Berner picture, she looks like Bette Midler. And I was like, why didn't you do Bette Midler?
Yeah.
I'm sure she's worn this wig as Winifred Sanderson.
Yeah.
So yeah, the look I did not enjoy. That's all. Candy Muse is Patrick Starr.
So I meant to actually look up Patrick Starr before this, and I didn't.
He's a makeup artist, YouTube person.
I imagine that, like many queens before, who choose people who are not very well known, for me, Patrick Starr doesn't necessarily count as a celebrity.
No.
So it was just Candy being Candy. And I think all Candy wanted to do is be safe. So that's what she did.
She wanted to get by, and that is exactly what she did, because she was Candy Muse in a turban. Mm-hmm. And that's it.
Yeah.
So this is what Patrick Starr actually looks like.
So, I mean, yeah.
Great.
I mean,
You got the look.
Candy very much probably thought like, oh, I could dress like Patrick.
Right. I can wear this.
Yeah.
She can't tie a turban clearly as well. But that's besides the point. But yeah, her Snatch game was just boring because I don't know anything about Patrick Star. She didn't offer anything for me to learn who he was other than he does makeup.
And eats banana with a peel on.
Yeah, I don't know. That grossed me out.
Yeah.
But I added a special one in here with the real Patrick Star because that is the Patrick Star that I know.
Yep. And I'm why you would insult the real Patrick Star this way? I mean, beyond me. But...
Beyond me, I know. That's the way it goes.
Oh,
next, we have Olivia Lux as Tabitha Brown, another person. I have no idea who this is.
Yeah, and I was going to look this one up too, and I was like, Olivia's performance did not make me want to.
Just don't care.
Yeah.
It's like I don't care who this person is.
And this is one of those things where Olivia, I feel, has gotten a little too confident.
Yeah, I feel like someone told her, "You look like this person." Mm-hmm. So that's why she did her on Snatch Game.
So should I tell you now? Okay, well, let me tell you.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Let me tell you what I thought. This wasn't funny. She wasn't, she didn't find anything other than oh, be a vegan. And that's not funny. What is the more outlandish thing?
Well, no, and then she brought up ASMR.
Yeah.
And then didn't know what it meant. I mean, I don't know what ASMR stands for.
I don't know, but I would.
But if you're going to bring it up, you should know what it is.
Yeah.
Or have a witty retort, because you can't just come up with that on the spot.
Right. So she tweeted after the episode, I brought Rachel Dolezal as my first pick, and they said no. LOL.
Oh, they said no to it?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Now, Rachel Dolezal is not a star either, not a celebrity, but
she is celebrity infamy.
Yes. So for those that don't know, Rachel Dolezal is that teacher who passed herself off as an African-American, but she actually is white.
She's very white.
And caused a major controversy.
But this is Rachel Dolezal hair.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That makes me sad that they didn't let her do that. I realize it would be very offensive, but it's
but also
much more entertaining.
Olivia could have done, like Halle Berry,
Yeah. And dress up as Catwoman.
Exactly.
About how terrible it was.
Yeah, I don't know. And that's maybe that's a young person thing too. It's we're just old, I guess.
Yeah. No, and I mean, if you're going to do Tabitha Brown, who I'm going to say 95% of the world has no idea who Tabitha Brown is, then this is your chance to make her anything.
Yeah.
She could be bananas crazy.
Yeah.
And we didn't get anything. We got one of the most boring things ever.
Yeah. And you can tell that Olivia also, you can tell that she had her bits. She wasn't going to deviate from that.
She did not stray from them one bit.
No, and it just did not work.
Yeah.
Of course, she didn't think that it didn't work.
She sure didn't think it was bad, but
yeah.
But girl, it was. Here she is with the original Tabitha Brown.
All right. I mean,
they're similar. I mean, I get that she looks like her. They have the same smile.
Yeah.
But that don't cut it. You can't just look like the person.
Mm-mm.
We've learned that many, many times. Then we have Denali as JVN. I thought it was genius.
I was scared. I was scared
too.
And then she started, and I went,
just flipping the hair. I was like, girl, you are Jonathan Van Ness.
Everything that I didn't know that I needed, and now I'm loving.
Yeah, she had everything down. She knew exactly what she was doing.
Yeah.
She knew how to respond.
Yeah, and
to any question.
Good for pork chop. for giving her the gift of Carson Kressley as an answer.
Exactly. Throw it right out there.
And Denali ran with it.
Yeah. Yeah. She did a great job. She surprised me because I thought she was going to be terrible at Snatch Game.
So I really enjoyed Denali. But my thing with Denali is kind of the same thing with Rosie. They both are technically really great, but you see all the work.
Yes.
You know, if that makes sense to people. Like, you know, they're really great and you can tell that they are, but sometimes what they seem to miss or what seems to not come across is the joy of what they're doing. And watching this was the first time that I felt like, okay.
Yeah, she was having a good
back. Yeah.
She was having a good time.
Her back is not up against the wall.
Yeah.
She's not worried about having to go home or something right now. She's just having fun and
that's what drag should be. You should have a good time.
Yeah.
Even if you're gonna look stupid, you don't have to look perfect every time.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so here we have their side by sides. I mean, other than the hair color not being exact, it's perfect.
But it was the essence, right? This is one of those where it's like, you know, yes, you got basically the minimal of the appearance, but the essence of this particular person was there.
That's all it was. Yeah. You have the look down and every attribute about him.
Yeah.
So good. Then we move on to Elliott with 2 T's as Rue McClanahan. This, I think, is our third Rue.
I know Crystal did Rue.
I swear someone on US did her before as well.
I'm
going to do a quick search. Tell me what you thought about it.
Well, I thought it was horrible.
That's all you have to say about it?
I thought it was horrible. I thought that, like, you know, there's more to, I think there's more to Rue McClanahan than the lusty, you know, Blanche. And that's the thing, because you're playing Blanche, not Rue McClanahan. But I mean, she's also, you know, vain. She's self-centered. She is, you know, it's always about her and how good she looks. It's, you know, every joke was about men and loving the company of men.
Gentlemen. Men.
Gentlemen.
Yeah. Like, what else do you know about her?
Exactly. Yeah, and you know, like, it was just not. Also, this is clearly not Elliott's strong suit either.
No, she was way out of her comfort zone.
Yeah, and you can tell that, and you can tell that from like the improv as well. Like, it's just not in Elliott's wheelhouse, and that's okay. Right. But yeah.
I can't find anything on it.
Yeah.
I don't have time to go through them all.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we've had 500 seasons now.
Yeah.
But yeah, she was bad. I can't say anything else. She knew one thing about Rue McClanahan, and that's what she ran with.
Mm-hmm.
And Rue warned her. What do we think about her look?
I didn't like the wig, but I knew what she was going for. I mean, I knew what she was going for with the outfit, but even I was just like,
I mean, but when you see a caftan, Rue McClanahan didn't wear caftans.
No.
Yeah, we know who wore caftans. It was not Rue McClanahan.
Yeah.
It was B. Arthur. And so she needed to wear something sexy.
Yeah.
To show more of her bosoms.
Yeah.
But does she wear boobs? I don't know if she wears boobs.
I don't think so.
Elliott, not Rue McClanahan.
Yeah. No,
I don't know that she wears boobs. So
I don't think that she does.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. It was just, I was sad.
Yeah, I mean, because you could have taken this, and I mean, I don't know if Rue would appreciate this, but you could take it to the absurd, like wear like Jimbo boobs.
Mm-hmm.
and just take it over sex.
Well, you know,
like Mary Berry.
Or like take a page from Simone's book, you know, and steal the same joke, like in that episode where she, like, her boobs are, you know, where she like, you know, when in that acting
right,
episode,
they're just so exaggerated.
And then when she hugs the director, her boobs pop.
They pop, exactly. Yeah, she just didn't know how to make it funny.
Yeah.
And I think that's her personality.
Mm-hmm.
Lastly, we have Bob Ross.
Every time I want to like Utica, something happens where I'm like, girl, you're just...
I still want to like her because who the fuck makes an afro out of squirrels?
I don't know.
I'm here for it, but it is so bananas crazy.
Yeah. So I didn't grow up watching Bob Ross. I do remember Bob Ross, and I remember my brothers and I making fun of the fact that whatever episode we saw, Bob Ross was talking about, it's magic blue.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah, everything is happy and lovely and magical, and
yeah.
I mean, he's basically stoned.
Right.
And
also,
she came out with this voice that had nothing to do with Bob Ross. Her actual speaking voice is Bob Ross. That's what she sounds like.
Yeah.
It's very soft-spoken, very calming, I was like, just talk normal.
And does Bob Ross say environments, or does he say landscape? Because he paints landscapes.
Yeah, I don't know where I didn't understand the environment joke. It wasn't funny at all.
Yeah. And you know, like, if I didn't know that they were squirrels, I would think that she had a wig of tater tots.
I would take a wig of tater tots as well. I would be fine with that. I mean, if you're going to use squirrels, why not use tater tots? Yeah, it was weird. I did appreciate that she drew the pictures on her cards. I thought that was clever.
Yeah.
But it was just bad. The whole thing was just bad. From start to finish. When she ate the paint, I thought someone was going to get sick. And then at the end, she called pork chop fat. I was like, come on, girl.
Yeah.
All right. So we kind of already talked about this look. She looks nothing like Bob Ross.
No.
I mean, even if you said, give me Bob Ross, but make it drag, this is not what I would come up with.
No, not at all.
Oh, Utica. All right. So I think we're unanimous on our favorite performance, but go ahead and say who yours is.
One, this is a really good square picture of all of them. You know what? My favorites were Gottmik.
I think Gottmik stole the show.
Yeah.
Very closely followed by Mary Queen of Scots, in my opinion.
Okay. Yeah. Mine were.
And Jonathan Van Ness was right there as well.
Yeah. Mine was like Gottmik, Denali, Rosie, and Simone.
Okay.
But I also recognize that Simone was really just being Simone.
Right.
As Harriet Tubman.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what I said earlier. I said the top three for me, the safe queens and the bottom three were very obvious. And the judges actually got it right this week.
Yes. Great.
Which I appreciated. I appreciated that.
I didn't feel gaslit by the production.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to put Candy Muse in the top. I don't think so.
Yeah.
And who was your favorite look? Not performance at all, just look of these.
Gottmik.
I think Gottmik, yeah. I mean, she just looks exactly like her. And then I would put Jonathan Van Ness right there as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
I think somewhere in the episode, Rosie Perez's name came up.
It did. Michelle Visage said she would do her in Snatch Game.
That's so. If I were a drag queen,
that's what you would do.
I think that I would want it. I think I would want to do Rosie Perez.
What kind of persona would you do of Rosie Perez? Just her natural one, or would you do her as Googie Gomez?
No, I think I would do her natural one.
Okay.
But
I mean, she's a character of herself, a caricature of herself.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, it's like, so I've I've had the opportunity to have Rosie Perez host one of my an events early in my career, and you know, that accent is that accent.
That's who she is.
That's who she is. And there's just something that's really funny. I think I would just amp up, you know, all of that a bit. Yeah.
What's your favorite Rosie Perez movie?
I don't know. I feel like I go back to, is it Untamed Heart?
That is my favorite one. Yeah. I love that movie so much.
Yeah, she's good in. She is good in Birds of Prey. Although I could have wanted more. Yeah. And also she's good in The Flight Attendant.
Oh, I haven't watched that yet.
Yeah, she's good. It's much more subdued. I mean, she's older now, but yeah. But no, Untamed Heart is.
I mean, White Man Can't Jump when she was on Jeopardy. Yeah, I would go back to Untamed Heart as well, just because I love that movie so much. It's a very underrated movie, I feel.
Yeah, I think I would also, and I'm not white, but it's still in the same vein. I think I would also want to do Debbie Mazar.
Okay. And what would you do with her? I mean, other than knowing she's an actress, I mean, I know she was like best friends with Madonna.
I think I would name drop Madonna a lot, but she's also, I think her husband is a chef.
Yeah, they had a cooking show where they cooked like in their backyard in Brooklyn.
Yeah, so I would probably maybe bring in a couple of like some of her chef antics. And she loves like Italy and Italian food. But I think it would be like, I don't know, I think I'd be stupid and be like, it's Chef Boyardee or something, So I don't know.
Exactly.
All right. I think about all these things, even though I'm never gonna
happen. Exactly.
Never gonna happen.
All right, moving on to our runway. Our runway theme this week is fascinating fascinators. I love a fascinator. I love all hats.
Are you going to wear your fascinator during Harry and Meghan's interview tonight?
Oh, maybe.
Ooh.
I'm going to wear it when we do Toots and Boots with David and Brian. I'm going to wear a fascinator.
Nice.
Sorry, the dog is barking. So let's start with Miss RuPaul in this blue and pink striped circus tent.
I liked it. I thought that she looked like a piece of candy. And I thought that, I liked the colors on her.
I like the colors too. I'm torn on the dress. I don't love the shape of the dress. I think I would have rather it not be flowy at the bottom. I know she does that because she tries to hide her shoes.
Yeah. Well, also, lately she's been coming out like more padded.
She has.
And this is not.
No, this is
not that.
This is classic Ru padding.
Yeah.
So I get it. It was interesting when she walked in it, the straps pieces at the bottom weren't connected. They were like car wash straps. I don't know how to describe it. But they weren't connected to any kind of fabric, so they were all kind of open, and I was like, oh, that's interesting.
So
yeah, I like it. I think she looks good.
Yeah.
Our first fascinator. So I have Instagram photos and then I have actual runway photos. So this is her Instagram photo that she posted, because I love what these queens are doing on Instagram with these.
Yeah.
But I don't like to judge their Instagram photos because they have time to correct things. But what did you think of her take on her fascinator with the Mercury and Mad Scientist?
I thought the emphasis was on the coat and not the fascinator.
I thought so too. I thought it was more about the costume.
Yeah, and then because the emphasis was on the coat, I was like, I would have shortened it, and there was just too much material. She was lost in it. It doesn't look like it fits her properly. Right. And it actually, even though she was in heels, it just made her look shorter. Like it dwarfed her.
Very stumpy.
Yeah, I like the concept of it. But
I like the concept is great, and that's what I was trying to figure out. Is the runway about the fascinator, or what you do with your outfit based on the fascinator?
So I'm approaching this as the centerpiece is the fascinator, and everything else.
Yeah, it just has to go with it.
Mm-hmm.
Great.
And I mean, look, her explanation of liquid mercury, great. But I'm gonna look at you and I'm gonna think, what is that glob on your head?
Yeah, it looks like you're wearing a tinfoil crown.
Yeah. Yeah.
So here's what she actually looked like on the runway.
But do you see how, God, you want to see more of the leg.
Yeah, and you lose the fascinator completely.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think a lot of them get so caught up in their concepts and ideas that they forget that, sometimes the challenge gets lost in there.
Yeah, I will say when they showed her close up and she had like the mercury on her face, I thought she looked stunning because you were focused on the headpiece and dripping down on her face and you didn't look at the rest of it. You weren't distracted by it. But that was only in close-ups.
Yeah.
Next we have Rosé. This is her Instagram.
Okay. She loves those frills, doesn't she?
She loves a good ruffle.
And the thing is,
I am convinced there was a huge sale in New York on tulle because every look she has tulle.
My biggest complaint, my biggest thing with Rosé is the fact that because she loves these ruffles and this tulle, it throws off the proportion.
Yeah, she looks like a blob.
And this fascinator it's a huge fucking rose. Yes, if she would have edited back, I would have paid more attention to the fact that there's
her dress could have been a like bodycon in the same silhouette, just a bodycon.
Yeah,
with roses dripping down it or rose petals dripping down it.
Yeah, and the studs as thorns.
Yeah,
it got lost. And
I have to say, I did like it better on the runway than I like it here.
Yeah,
because on the runway you could see more of her body because it was.
This looks like something that RuPaul would wear when she's really padded up.
Yeah.
And then
you have to exaggerate the padding.
Yeah.
To compensate for the ruffles.
Yeah. And it just, I don't know. I looked at that rose. I was like, oh. And then I looked at the rest of the dress. I'm like, pull it back a bit. Pull it back. It doesn't enhance the rose. It takes away from it.
Yes. Well, I liked it. I didn't love it, but I liked it.
Yeah.
But I liked it because she stole the idea from me.
Yes, she did. I knew I'd seen that somewhere before.
I wore this on Cycle for the Cause, obviously, but I wore this to the season 11 finale taping. So Drag Race has already seen this.
Yeah.
And then we also found out that Lala Ree had a giant rose that she was going to wear.
That's just dumb.
So there's our repeat again. We just keep getting more and more. Next is Utica Queen giving us a picnic.
I thought it was cute.
This was my favorite runway look.
Yeah, I mean, I liked it. It just,
it's super fun. It's actually really fashiony as well, which is what she does.
Yeah.
But I thought it's campy, it's kooky. I love the butterflies and the bees in the basket, the ants crawling up the leg.
I have nothing bad to say about this. I like it very much.
Yeah.
I love the ants. I think it's a great little concept.
Did you notice on Rosé's Instagram there was an ant?
Yes, I did. Yes, I did.
Let's steal more ideas from people.
Yeah.
I loved it. I thought it was fantastic. And
it looked great on the runway.
It looked really good on the runway. Yeah, here's her runway. Look at that. She just looks stunning.
Yeah.
Did she take the glasses off for this? Yeah, she's not wearing them on her Instagram, but she wore them on the runway and I liked them.
Yeah. And she cut back on the mugging a bit, so it worked.
Yeah. I really, really like this look. I was very happy with it. Then we have Simone giving us glamour and political statement all in one.
Mm-hmm.
This is her Instagram.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah, I was okay. When she came out, I was like, oh, okay.
I know, when she came out, I was like, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
And the statement piece is the fascinator.
And it's a lily, right?
It's some kind of flower, yeah.
It's a lily, yeah. I'm like, okay, we're a walking lily. when she turns around,
and then
you know what? Yeah, and it's not like it's a monumental, eye-opening design. It's simple and
no, and what I don't like, I don't like those square hips. I don't like them when anyone wears them, but I don't hate it, but I just don't enjoy them.
Yeah, but like when she turned around, I was like, oh, I get this now.
Yeah,
it's
I mean,
you know,
the crystal bullet holes in the back.
Yeah,
are just so powerful.
Yeah, because
the dress needed to be as basic as possible, but still look fashiony.
Yeah, it would. Anything else would have taken away from the message.
Yeah.
And
yeah, agreed. Here she is on the runway, looking glorious. Yeah, great job.
It was a great job.
I can't say anything bad about it because it looks really good. I don't like the square hips, but I don't hate them either.
Right.
Got Mick. This is her Instagram photo being punk rock out on the streets.
I don't really care for the punk rock aesthetic, but if you're gonna do it and you do it well, I'm gonna like it.
Exactly. If you're gonna do it like this.
Yeah, I liked it. I loved it, honestly. And I thought
my favorite fascinator, obviously.
Yeah, out of all of them, it's like, oh, okay, we're playing with the idea of the fascinator, and this is how you do it.
Yeah. I don't love the blood drip on it, but I get why it's there, but I don't love it. I think it was just a tad too much.
Yeah.
And we got her clown white face again for the, she hasn't had it for a while, which made me happy. So I didn't mind it coming back.
No, I mean,
here she is on the runway looking exactly the same because she didn't change it at all.
And you know, she's a fucking fashion model.
She is. She knows how to work that runway. Every which way.
Yeah.
Here is Denali in her Instagram photo being the diner queen. I don't know if she wore those stocking boot covers on her skates. I don't think she did on the runway, but we'll see that.
No, I don't think she did either.
I will say I don't like this outfit.
No.
But it is my favorite fascinator.
I love the fascinator.
Yeah.
Did not care for the outfit. So this is the opposite of what I said, where, you know, she literally was like, let me not take too much away from the fascinator.
Exactly.
And so therefore now it's like, eh.
Yeah.
But I think also she was probably relying on the fact that she was going to be in roller skates. So
exactly.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it does look costumey, like
it looks like a costume, but with a great headpiece.
Yeah. And honestly, I think it was already neck and neck with Gottmik in terms of Snatch Game, and I think this
the runway did it. Yeah.
Yeah.
There she is on the runway in the same outfit, same headpiece. She is wearing the boot covers on her skates. I did not notice them.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
She looks confused in this photo.
Doesn't look confused. Like, where am I supposed to go now?
I don't know what's supposed to do next. I can't even talk about this. Elliott with 2 T's, I guess, giving us a flamingo. I did not get flamingo one bit from this.
When she said, so I had to.
When she said it, I was still like, no, it's still not a flamingo. That fabric on her leg is so awful.
It's just
I mean, if she was going to do that, she should have just did it as the bodysuit in that material.
Yeah, there were just so many things that are like,
you know what? Off. I still know you don't have that. There's a leg under there. Right?
Yeah.
You're not hiding a leg.
Yeah. I just,
and it's ugly as well.
I don't even think that this would pass muster in Vegas.
No. And then why do you have that fabric on your shoulder too?
Yeah. And then the hot pink tips or hot pink
on the wig,
on your wig. That's
and yeah, I mean, she did
fascinator.
When she has it pulled over like this, it looks better. When we look at the next picture, when she was on the runway, it was like all over her shoulders, and I was like, it's just like a big pile of hair.
Yeah.
The fascinator is fine, but nothing groundbreaking.
No.
Here she is on the runway with this crazy vast wig. She's trying to be a model. She wore the lightest shade of pink lipstick, so it doesn't look like she has any on at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just bad.
Yeah, I don't really. I've never connected with Elliott and Elliott's like
aesthetic.
Yeah, rich.
I don't know that she has one.
It's kind of like what a rich soccer mom or would think is fashion.
It's very pedestrian.
Yeah. One might say basic.
Yeah. As they say, so having a bad Snatch game and then wearing this, you kind of sealed your fate.
Yeah.
Tina Berner giving us horse head. My favorite part of this picture, obviously, is the little horse. And my favorite part of her outfit is the blue ribbon purse.
I did not like this. I actually was like...
I mean, when you look, brown is such a hideous color to wear on the runway.
It's ugly.
And I think this is the second time she's worn brown. I'm like, girl.
Oh, it's ugly. And the fascinator isn't even good. Not cute.
No, and it's a cute idea to do a saddle with a horse head on it, but you can't tell that it's a horse. It's so weirdly placed.
Yeah.
Like it either needed to be down or to the side.
Yeah. And it's like
where you could see the head.
And like why do you have flowers
are
on
you
wrist?
The horse that you want?
Like is your body the horse's body? Like what
I mean, you might as well put a horse head on your whole head.
It was really one of the only times where I was like, Tina, why'd you deviate from your colors?
Well, that is one bonus that we got. It is not red, orange, and yellow. It is brown. Maybe she's being the log before it catches fire. I don't know. It was bad, is what it was.
Yeah.
And then we have finally Candy Muse giving us houndstooth layers and layers with this Muse spelled out in feathers on her headpiece.
Just again, it's like
lazy.
It's lazy. It is a
and I mean you can see it here spelled out Muse in her Instagram photo. You couldn't see it on the runway.
No,
it was like transparent.
Right. And it just really goes to, the think process of like, Candy thinks of nothing but candy. And, she has this challenge where she can, be creative in a way, and she decides to promote herself. Yeah.
That is what she's doing. Because even in the workroom this week, she wore a shirt that had a giant K on it.
Yeah, I mean, it's branding. That's
the only reason she's there. I will say in this Instagram photo, she took it in the waist, so the outfit actually looks a little better. On the runway, she looks like a blob of fabric. That's all it's just too much fabric.
And I didn't like her makeup.
Oh yeah, when she took it in here, it's cuter.
Yeah.
It's still not my favorite look. I love houndstooth, don't get me wrong.
Right.
I would wear houndstooth all the time, but it's just too much fabric, too many layers.
And also houndstooth and feathers?
Yeah, the feathers make no sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could come up with a better, I wonder if she had no idea what a fascinator was.
Well, I mean, whoever designed
And then she's like, well, let me I have these feathers, what can I make out of it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Not good. Not good. Who had your favorite look?
Gottmik.
I'm giving it to Utica. I loved Utica's look so much because it was just fun and playful, kind of like her.
Look, she needs a win.
She needs a boost.
She needs a boost. Good for you for
she needs a little boost. So obviously our winner is Gottmik this week. There's no disputing that. I mean, it was pretty obvious that that's what happened.
Candy's reaction.
Candy Muse is very excited, just so surprised they got won. There you go. We have a lip sync between Utica and Elliott with 2 T's to Fascinated by Company B. Did you know this song?
No.
Okay. I do, because it was when I was growing up.
Mm-hmm.
It is a very 80s song, Fascinated. I thought it's a kooky song choice, which really worked to Utica's
Exactly. Although I think that in comparison to Elliott's last lip sync for Your Life, I just didn't think there was fire in her.
There was, I don't know if she couldn't move in that thing or what. But yeah, it was like she'd given up, or they had told her like, you're going home. You have no chance of winning. And so she did the very little as possible.
Yeah.
Because she had a puss on her face through all of Untucked.
Yeah.
And even on the runway, when they were standing there judging, she had a puss on her face like this. This is what her face looked like. So she was not happy about something. So I don't know if they told her, like, it's like the Jiggly Caliente thing. She got the bill for the hotel room saying, when are you checking out that morning? Yeah, who knows?
I mean, it was the right choice for this particular episode.
It was totally the right choice.
Yeah.
Here's her mirror message. It took y'all hoes 4 times to get rid of me. Be kind and make it ho. Love, Elliott with 2 T's. Great. She still has a puss on her face.
I mean, I think there's, there could also, it could be the scenario where it's like, even she was just like, it's my time. It's,
It could be, because she did say, she's like, you don't have to make it to the end to make an impact on people's lives and your own. So I think she knew she wasn't going to win. I think she knew that from week 1 when everyone else eliminated her.
Yeah.
But yeah, there just wasn't much there. She did fine. She lasted longer than I thought she was going to. And I kind of wish they would have just gotten rid of her at the beginning and then invited her back for season 14, maybe.
Yeah.
Because there's just too many queens and too many non-eliminations.
Right.
So we could have gotten rid of her and said, take the year, get yourself together, and come back. I don't know if anything would change for her within a year, but who knows?
Yeah.
Next week, we have our makeover challenge. It's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
I assumed they would be making over the queens that themselves, like people in the competition, but I thought they were going to make over queens that had been eliminated, and obviously there would be too many right now, so it would be later in the season.
Yeah.
But this is interesting.
So
these are the pairs that are going to be making over each other.
So since there are 8 of them, they're making over. Okay.
They have to turn. So Denali and Olivia are the pair together. So Olivia has to paint Denali like she would paint Olivia, and Denali has to paint Olivia like she would paint Denali.
Okay.
They're painting each other as their doppelgangers. So really, Olivia will be Denali, and Denali will be Olivia this week.
That's interesting.
The pairs are so crazy.
Although I'm ready to finally see the Tina Rose showdown, if there is one.
Girl, what is Simone gonna do to Utica? And vice versa.
Yeah.
And then, Gottmik will do fine on Candy because she's a makeup artist. Candy Muse is gonna destroy Gottmik's face.
Yeah. Yeah, but
yes, I think we are gonna get our Tina Berner Rose showdown.
Yeah.
Do you think they'll be in the bottom and have to lip sync against each other?
I don't know. Maybe that would be fun, and then Tina can go.
It would. Who do you think would win?
Rose.
Yeah, in a heartbeat. Tina Berner is a great performer, but she's not going to beat Rose.
Yeah.
You know why?
Why?
Because Rose is still my pick to win this season.
You know what? It's very possible.
She's going to be in the top 4 no matter what.
Yeah, Simone is kind of like slowed down on the momentum.
I think Simone came out way too strong in the first few episodes and has kind of faded.
Yeah, but like to Simone, to be fair, Simone didn't know there were going to be 22 episodes.
She did not. And she won the episodes of things that she's really good at.
Yeah.
She clearly is not a dancer.
Yeah.
Or a singer.
Well, and just think how much, like at this point, how tired they must be.
Exhausted. Yeah.
And they're only halfway through.
Yeah, we have 7 more episodes to get through.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming, so there's 8 people. So there has to be a double elimination at some point.
Yeah. Do you think that they're going to go?
Let me go back. Could we have a double elimination this week?
Maybe. Do you think they'll go to a final 2?
I have no idea.
Does the math work?
So if we had a double elimination, do you think it would be one pair? I mean, because the only pair that they would get rid of would be these two.
There's a front runner in
every pair.
In every pair.
Yeah.
And you're not going to get rid of Denali and Olivia because that's a pair of 2 front runners.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, honestly, looking at them, the 3 that should be in danger are Utica, Tina Berner, and Candy Muse.
Yeah. Your top 5 are, I mean, what I hope is top 5 are Denali, Olivia, Simone, Rosie, and Gottmik.
I am not as sold on Denali, but although she is growing on me.
Mm-hmm.
I thought she was going to be gone sooner than this. Just because there's something about her that I don't like. And I think it's she has like this attitude of a little bit nastiness. She's proved me wrong that that's not who she is. So I give her that. So I think she has grown on me. And I don't discredit her as a drag queen by any means. Don't take that the wrong way, people. She's just not for me.
Yeah.
Also,
I think Denali's kind of cute.
I know everyone does, and I don't see it at all.
Oh, yeah.
I think she wears too much makeup as a boy for me.
Oh, okay.
And nothing wrong with that. I mean, wear as much makeup as you want, but just as a personal preference to me. Yeah. So yeah, I don't think we'll have a.
So says the person who wears a lot of makeup as a boy.
As a boy, I don't wear any makeup. Wow, I don't even want to wash my face. Yeah, I don't think we'll get a double elimination this week based on these pairs. If they do put a pair in the bottom, it's going to be Tina Berner and Rosie, I think.
Yeah.
I guess it could be Olivia and Denali, but do they really want to get rid of one of them? I mean, Tina Berner you can get rid of, and so what? She's done nothing on the show.
Right. But also, like, I get worried because I think that they want to keep Candy.
Candy Muse, I think, is there until the top 4 now.
Yeah.
Or at least the top 5.
Yeah.
Because I think they want her there for television purposes. I mean, she's become the narrator. She was the narrator every segment this week. No one else talked to the camera except her. So yeah, I don't know. I think she's there till the end. I don't think they're going to let her win. If they do, then Drag Race should just end.
Well, it was nice. It was nice.
Find something new, or they need to have a season right after that to wash it away.
Yep.
All right. Who is your pick to win overall?
Simone.
Okay. I think Simone, Gottmik, and Rosie are the top 3.
Yep.
If we do a top 3, if we do a top 2, who would you put it in there against Simone? Would it be Rosie or Gottmik?
Oh, probably Gottmik.
Yeah, I think it's Rosie and Simone for the title.
Yeah. So
because I still think Rosie is going to win, but that's just my own personal feeling.
My team, my Drag Race team, is now Elliott was my wild card, so. But
Joey J was mine.
The 3.
I will say I am no longer in last place on the fantasy league, but I am 3rd to last now.
Yeah. So my 3, I think I've been consistently 2nd, which is better than any time that I've ever.
You're right up there, girl.
Played this, but my 3 are Simone, Denali, and Gottmik.
That's a strong 3.
That's a strong, yeah.
I have fucking Tina Berner, who has done shit. She did win the mini challenge this week, so I'll get some points for that.
Yeah, but Tina also is one of those, and it's just one of those where it's like, I think she falls into that category of like, she is a great drag queen.
She's a great drag queen. I thought she would win
Drag Race.
I didn't think she was going to win Drag Race. I thought she would win something.
Yeah.
And she has disappointed at every turn.
Well, I do enjoy, there's a little bit of me that does enjoy when New York girls remember that or are reminded that there are other girls outside of New York City and that some of them are just as uber talented.
Exactly. Yeah, and some of them don't want to be on Drag Race.
Yeah.
Brenda Darling is one of the top queens in New York and has no interest in doing Drag Race.
Yeah.
Because she thinks it'll hurt her brand more than help it.
Yeah.
It could be interesting if maybe they'll put like Candy Muse and Tina Berner in the bottom to break up the Mean Girls.
Bye.
And then you can send them both home. I know they won't, but they could.
Oh, yeah.
All right. What did you think of UK? Let's go quickly through UK.
UK was UK had a great runway. Oh,
it did.
Well, what was the main challenge?
The main challenge this week was apparently
the stand-up comedy.
Sorry. I was gonna say apparently unmemorable, but it was stand-up comedy.
Sorry. Because you have, and this has been my week, the last 8 weeks. It has been UK, WandaVision, US
13.
Yeah. I didn't really like Lawrence Chaney at first, and then I came around to Lawrence Chaney, and then Lawrence Chaney made me dislike him.
And then Lawrence Chaney went crazy.
And I was like, oh, we're having our Alaska moment, are we? And my entire feeling about
came out of nowhere.
My entire feeling about the order is, look, you can make drama out of the order. At the end of the day, it all rises and falls on your material. And if your material isn't good enough, it doesn't matter what order you're
funny. In. You just have to be funny.
Yeah. And I really wasn't, I was also annoyed, but I also recognized that this is not, I'm sure Ellie doesn't like confrontation. If it were me, I would have said exactly what I said and not have gotten into my head about making the girls mad. Because if
she played it exactly the way she should have.
If the shoe were on the other foot.
Because she knows she's not that funny. Mm-hmm. And she's like, I'm going to put myself after the least funny person. Mm-hmm. And it won't, I'm not going to win. I don't think she didn't want to say I'm not going to win. She's like, I could win now. But I was like, she's like, I'm not going to win, but I'm going to get by.
Yeah. And
Drag Race wanted to make Ahura and Taze lip sync against each other. Exactly. Let's be clear. That I think was foregone.
I did like the runway. I thought Stoned on the runway was great.
Yeah.
Stones on the runway.
Stoned.
So, I mean, still, someone should have come out high, which Bimini almost did, but...
Kind of.
but it was dripping in diamonds. That was the other.
Yes, diamonds.
Yeah, diamonds. I don't like Ahura, so I'm glad that she went home.
I don't either. Yeah.
At this point, I'm pushing for Bimini. I feel like Bimini is the one that's started off really bad, and then has.
Yeah, she's had the biggest arc.
Yeah.
I still think Lawrence Chaney's going to win.
I do think. I mean, Lauren.
It's going to be between the two of them.
Yeah, and it's very possible that Lawrence becomes the first big girl to win Drag Race in general.
And deservedly, she's a great drag queen.
Yep.
So, I have no problem with that. I mean, her little tantrum this week was just so crazy. I don't hold anything against her. I know she deleted her Twitter because people were coming after her. I believe someone called her a fat cunt. I was like, okay. Wow. So she deleted her Twitter. I'm glad she did not delete her Instagram because I enjoy her Instagram. I hope she does her makeup tutorial every week of the makeup that she did. I hope she keeps doing that on YouTube because I do watch them.
Nice.
And I still think I think it's between her and Bimini. I'm fine with either of them winning. Mm-hmm. But I'm pushing for Lawrence Chaney just because she's a big girl.
Yeah.
And Drag Race needs that representation. But maybe we'll get that in All Stars 6 on Paramount Plus. Do you have your Paramount Plus subscription?
I don't, and I know I'm going to get it. But like CBS All Access was the one that I didn't have.
I didn't have it either, and I signed up for it because they're doing a special. If you pay for the full year, you can get it at 50% off.
Oh.
And so we did the commercial free as well. So we have no commercials. And it was $50 for the year.
For the year?
For the year, yeah. And if you watch it right now, the Real World Homecoming of season 1 is just started airing on Friday. We watched the first one last night. So there's lots to watch, and that Clarice is on there, which I'm very excited to watch.
Okay, I could finally watch The Good Fight.
Oh yeah,
I should probably finish watching.
I think the discount code, you can look it up, but I think the discount code is Paramount Plus to get the 50% off.
Okay,
if you do it if you pay the whole year all at once.
Yeah,
and do commercial free.
Okay.
I'm also watching Strangers with Candy.
Oh, on the CBS.
On that, yeah. So there's no commercial, so it's like 23 minutes long.
Okay.
Interesting. All right. Anything else you want to talk about Drag Race? We have what's the next challenge on UK? I can't remember. Did they say? I'm sure they did.
It's top 4. I mean,
I know we haven't had a makeup challenge. I mean, makeover challenge, but they didn't say that either. And they might not be doing it because of COVID.
That's true. Don't know.
And we haven't really had a ball in UK.
I don't remember.
I don't either.
I don't remember.
Oh, it's Beastenders. They're doing the skit.
So I actually saw, and this is why it took me a bit to remember it. I did a Zoom with friends on Thursday. So I didn't get to watch UK before it. So I watched it after basically a half a bottle of wine and 2 beers. So I was like,
that's why you enjoyed it so much.
Well, but also I was like, oh, wait, I'm done with the Zoom call. If I watch UK now, it means that it'll only be like an hour and 15 minutes until the finale of WandaVision drops. So instead of going to bed at like 12:15,
you'll just stay up all night.
I stayed up till 3 o'clock in the morning.
Of course.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Yeah. Because WandaVision, since it gets released at midnight Pacific time.
Oh, okay.
It's 2 o'clock.
That's 2. I was gonna say I thought it was 2 o'clock. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Interesting.
All right.
Yeah. So yeah, we'll have a skit from the UK, and then we'll have makeovers on US next week.
Nice.
Thank you once again, Roger, for doing.
Of course.
For those of you out there, if you want to toot and boot the looks, they are up on my Instagram right now.
Yep.
And you have until 10:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Toot and the boots for so many looks.
Yeah. And take.
It'll take you about 20 minutes to get through it. But they are there on Sashay Away with Barry in my Insta story right now. Roger, I adore you.
Adore you.
We haven't talked about 275 challenge yet, but we will.
Yes. Yeah.
And stay on the line because I wanted to gossip with you.
Oh, okay, great.
Okay, bye everyone.
Bye.